The story of Surrealism began in 1924, where outside a cafe in Paris, Andre Breton wrote the Surrealist Manifesto, where he basically described that art could represent the unconscious mind. And if you've ever read Freud, you know all about the three levels of awareness, right? You have the conscious level, which is anything you're aware of at any particular time. You have the preconscious level, which is stuff that's sort of hidden, but when people ask you about it, you can easily recollect it. It's sort of like memory and recollection. And then you have the unconscious level, which is where all the good stuff is. That's your deepest, buried, darkest desires, your basic instincts, your daddy issues, your psychological problems, and you're not aware of it. But Surrealism really tries to represent this level of awareness. But that poses a challenge, because if you're not aware of it, how do you represent it? How do you depict it? Salvador Dali used to take a fork and ring it around his neck so it pointed up, and then he would stay awake for long periods of time. And then when he would doze off, the fork would spring him back to an awake state, and he would quickly paint down whatever it was he was dreaming about. So Surrealism dealt with this unconscious level. Perhaps the easiest way to describe a surrealist painting is saying that it's like looking at a dream. A less straightforward way to put it is that Surrealism is about invoking feelings in the viewer by taking real-life objects and putting them in an unreal setting, or taking an unreal object and putting it in a real-life setting. And what that results in are really trippy paintings, where you have objects put together that are not normally associated. You have one where there's an egg, and it's a giant egg, and then the yolk in the middle is the sun, and there's one where you have a train just coming straight at you through a fireplace, and it's like, who thinks of these things? You know?
René Magritte was Belgium's Surrealism artist. He became famous all over the world thanks to provoking and controversial paintings. His mother committed suicide when he was 14. Regina had been suffering from depression for a number of years and was so badly affected that she was usually kept in a locked room. On the night she escaped, she immediately went to the nearest bridge and threw herself into the river. Regina was missing for days before her body was discovered. Legend is saying that Regina's nightgown had wrapped itself around her head. Face hidden under the canvas appears in many of his paintings from the late 20s. In the word of René Magritte, nothing is what it seems. His paintings show ordinary objects in extraordinary way. He created very clear pictures, although the longer you look at them, the more you realize that their meaning is absolutely unclear. He is the creator of the mystery of the ordinary. René Magritte painted The Son of Man as a self-portrait, with the hope of conveying important message about the individual. In regard to the painting, Magritte stated that everything we see hides another thing. We always want to see what is hidden by what we see. In order to highlight Magritte's belief that art was not reality but a mere representation of it, Magritte painted the well-known and provocative This Is Not a Pipe portrait. In the work, Magritte wanted to show the viewer that the pipe wasn't actually a pipe, but rather an image of the real thing. Magritte's painting holds true to the surrealist style, and it strips signs and symbols of the original meaning and would become one of the most iconic surrealist paintings. The artist had a big influence on the art of the second half of the 20th century, primarily on the pop art. His apple was the inspiration for the Beatles' Apple Records logo. Moreover, the eye in the logo of CBS was based on his painting.
Thanks for watching this short video on Surrealism. We hope you enjoyed your time and that we haven't been wasting